You know, Eleanor, I would say that I got this idea for today's episode in a different place, but I was perusing the web again. Womp womp. I was talking to somebody about scary stuff on the internet, and he started telling me about how one of the ways he bonds with his 14-year-old nephew is by talking about content that they've both watched on YouTube.
That could go in so many different directions. That could be so wholesome and sweet or so depraved.
Well, it's usually analog horror, like The Monument Mythos, or a web series like Petscop. Most of the time, the two of them talk about what they've already seen. But he told me that his nephew brought up something he had never heard of, a website called Lomando.com.
I haven't heard that name in years. Okay, so you're talking about Fancy Island.
I'm talking about Fancy Island, so you have heard of it. For those of you out there who don't know, Lomando.com is a website containing a point-and-click video game called Fancy Island. When you go to the front page, it has a very cute anime aesthetic with pink colors and cat girls everywhere. It's like my Twitter timeline.
And then you click on said cat girl, because wouldn't we all? And it literally all falls to hell, okay? Are you ready to take a trip to Fancy Island? I'm not.
I'm also not, but I am the driver, so get in, kids.
Don't make me go back.
Welcome to Internet Urban Legends, a Spotify original from Parcast. I'm Loey, your friendly neighborhood true believer, and the mom with a minivan driving y'all to Fancy Island today.
I thought you would be the cat girl. Hi, I'm Eleanor. I'm your skeptic. Today, your child. You are in like a serious MILF era right now,
oh my God, baby.
Which I support isn't even the right word. So yeah, I'll take the back seat.
Together, we are the Gruesome Twosome, and this is Internet Urban Legends, where we dive deep into the darkest corners of the internet.
We might find the answers we're looking for, we might scare ourselves into staying up all night, but one thing is for sure, I love how many of you guys can fit in the backseat with me.
Oh
it's
my
packed
God,
in,
it's amazing.
We're cuddling, it's freaking great. We're glad to have you guys along for the ride.
Lomando.com is home to a point-and-click video game called Fancy Island. Fancy Island was created sometime in 2010 by a Japanese game developer named War-O-Topi. You can play it from your phone, so next time that your little cousin asks, got games on your phone? Pull out a little...
Traumatize them.
Traumatize them. So, we'll be talking about the version that you play on your computer in a web browser. And to be frank, I don't really know if there are like differences between the versions, so play with caution. While it was made in 2010, this game gained popularity around 2016 on YouTube, but to this day in 2022 is still updated by the developer with new content occasionally. The front page lists the most recent update as being February 2020. When you go to the front page of Lomando.com, you'll see a cute cat girl, who's apparently named Mimi, smiling at you with all pink visuals. Literally, the website looks like the pinkest, loveliest, cutest little home screen. It looks like what I wanted my Tumblr to look like, or my MySpace, you know?
Did you see that Instagram is adding potentially like a song you can put on your profile, like MySpace? I saw that the other day.
Really?
Literally gave it to me. Like, let me change my background.
That's so fun.
Give it all to me.
Let me relearn HTML coding. Like,
I'm ready.
Basically, the front page of Lomando.com looks like an anime fan site with all pink visuals. All the text is in Japanese. You can translate it on the website, but you just might think when you stumble across it, like, oh, cute. This is just a cute place on the internet to be. Wrong. You've arrived at Fancy Island, or you're about to at least. On the left side is a character bio for Mimi, by the way, the cat girl. Well, she's 10,000 years old, and she has a hobby of collecting cute and interesting goods. She's just like me for real. In the center is the text, "Welcome to the fantasy space, Fancy Island. Please read the notes below carefully. Click the cat girl illustration above to go to the main menu." So, we click the cat girl, because of course we do. And, what exactly happens next, Elle?
It all falls apart. It
dear.
all
Oh, no.
falls apart. Top 10 anime betrayals. You click the cat girl, and
Mimi,
all of a
no.
sudden, yeah, the cat girls are gone. They all abandon you. You're faced instead with an ominous door in a dark area. And this is like a complete aesthetic contrast to the cutesiness of the homepage, right? But you're already here, so let's continue the journey. You click the door. And out of nowhere, this creepy, pretty harrowing, like dead-looking, corpsey face pops up. All right, it's staring you dead in your very alive eyes, and there are 5 clickable white circles placed in the bottom left corner, so you have a couple choices. You can click the first circle, and you'll see a random white mask with blood dripping from its eyes, and then more masks will appear if you wait there for 10 seconds, and a shrill laughing noise will take over your web browser. And then, this is multifaceted, the distorted face of a character starts banging at high speed on the player's screen, like knocking against the screen, mouth wide open, but with no scream. And this will just go on, seemingly indefinitely, until you start the game over. Now remember, you have a bunch of circles, so let's click the other ones, right? You try the second one. Now it's a bunch of internet pop-up windows floating in front of a picture of a brain. One pop-up has distorted eyes staring at you. Another has a Japanese newspaper, and another has a picture of a beating heart. If you click the heart, now you're on a screen with the word unknown written countless times. There's this really creepy, unsettling face on the side of the screen and a weird animation bordering the screen of hands opening and closing. You can click on the face. There's lots of clickables here. We're in a rabbit hole. And now there are multiple faces shaking violently in front of a very loud static TV in an endless loop. Whoops, time to start over again. Nothing to do here, but it seems that there are just like a number of creepy paths. It very much reminds me of, what was the museum? You know what I'm talking about.
The Museum of Anything Goes.
The Museum of Anything Goes, yeah, where you're just kind of clicking down these rabbit holes and being greeted with increasingly creepy visuals.
I will tell you all that my one and only playthrough of Fancy Island, I clicked the third circle on the opening screen. The screen went entirely red, and I immediately exited out. I was like, that's enough for me. Time to go. Throughout the game, you encounter a lot of puzzles, mazes, and different jump scares like these from a number of nightmarish monsters. To progress in the game, you must click your way through the maze-like website, which contains hundreds of subpages. Hundreds of subpages. We're like clicking on Mimi the cat girl. That takes us to choice number 1. And from choice number 1, you have 5 more choices. Then from there, you have like 6 more choices. And it just gets more and more and more convoluted. Now, you are, by the way, going through these subpages, battling sinister forces of something called the Pajama God. Now, the Pajama God appears as a giant buff clown with huge muscles.
Hear me out. Hear me out.
Because you're listening at home, you couldn't hear the eyebrow raise I just did. But if I were to articulate the emotion that I'm feeling, it could be kind of like Daddy, a little bit. Anyway, most of the Pajama God's appearance, besides his body, appears as a generic clown with a red afro, white skin, and clown makeup. But believe it or not, there is a rhyme and reason to all of this insanity. Fancy Island has a story if you dig deep enough. So, fasten your seatbelts, baby, because we're diving in. Up next, it's time to visit Fancy Island for ourselves and find if there's a deeper meaning to all of this madness.
They say time heals all wounds, but sometimes time can do anything but. Welcome to Cold Cases, the new Spotify original from Parcast. I'm Carter Roy. Every Monday, join me as I revisit the clues and miscues of some of the most elusive criminal cases in history. From burglary and arson to kidnappings and murder, each episode of Cold Cases explores the many types of crime, the many ways they remain unsolved, and how long it takes to find the answers, if ever. Will justice be served? Only time will tell. Follow Cold Cases free and only on Spotify.
Now, something you all may know about me if you are familiar with my YouTube channel, something that my best friend Eleanor absolutely knows about me, is that I love video games. We both do. We're both
It's true.
big video game people. And I consider us both fairly good at games as well. You play Fortnite. I'm playing You carried me in Fortnite though. You really did. I can't wait till you start playing Overwatch 2 with me, and then I can carry you for about 2 seconds. But that's it. That's all I have.
That's all I need.
I'm out here, I'm playing things like Overwatch and horror games and like Mario games. But for the life of me, I could not actually figure out how to beat Fancy Island because this game does this weird thing at certain points where it makes you backtrack to other pages you've already been to. And some of the jump scares kind of, to be honest, just get a little boring after a while. I mean, everything is trying to kill you, so at a certain point it loses all the effect. It's like when you're walking through a haunted house and then by the end, a monster jumps out and you're like, I've seen like 10 of you. Yeah. That's like me at Halloween Horror Nights. I'm walking through like the Michael Myers haunted house and Michael jumps out with a knife and I'm like,
Michael is a friend.
You are quite friend-shaped, sir. It's not having the effect you think it is. Thankfully for us, there's a Lomando wiki, which helpfully breaks down the story in all of this chaos. You, the player, visit Fancy Island for reasons that aren't entirely clear. There's this whole thing about a researcher that went missing before the game even happened, so maybe you're trying to find him, but the game isn't clear on that. So this is kind of like an alternate reality game, so to speak, when you get into the details of it. There's this entire universe behind this game and behind the reason that Fancy Island exists at all. Anyway, you're working your way through the so-called theme park while defeating various hostile ghosts. I thought it was really interesting because people call it a theme park because they literally data mined the website and like the home page or like when you enter Fancy Island, it's called like theme park in the file. Isn't that weird?
That is weird because there's nothing themed or parkish about it.
Yeah, I was like, initially when I was reading that, I was like, hold on, are we in a theme park? I didn't know this was that kind of road trip.
Honestly, the theme park apps sneak up on us. It's like we always circle back.
It is funny you mentioned theme park and both Eleanor and I are like, where? So you're working your way through this so-called theme park while defeating various hostile ghosts. Slowly, you discover details about the manager, who is the creator of this large amusement park named Fancy Island. Throughout the game, you find his diaries. In one of them, it says that in 2009, the manager opened the theme park Fancy Island.
But, oh my God, terrible luck. On the very same day, a new, highly contagious virus outbreak began at Fancy Island, referred to as, quote, the incident. 17 people were rushed to the hospital and the amusement park was closed. Terrible luck. Fancy Island would soon be permanently shut down on September 1st, 2009. Now, feeling extreme guilt over the outbreak and remorse over the closure of his amusement park, the manager retreated from the public eye. Due to this, the manager instead turned to his diary, and he began writing about his nightmares and thoughts of taking his own life. Some of his dreams included his tongue being peeled off with a peeler.
Ugh.
There's another where someone supposedly said, "You will die at someone's post," and so on and so on. And then the manager does pass away on April 4th, 2010. Nobody knows how, but because of his previous diary entries, the game hints that he may have taken his own life.
So all of this is happening. You're literally collecting bits of information, diary entries, to uncover what happened at Fancy Island, why it is the absolute mess that it is today, why it was created in the first place, as well as simultaneously battling your way through some ghosts. We, as the player, can multitask like no other. We are honestly killing it. Out of nowhere, by the way, in the lore of this game, a ghost named Pajama God takes over the amusement park after the death of the manager and starts trying to kill anyone who goes inside. And when a person dies or gets killed in the amusement park, their soul gets turned into one of the many creepy dolls in the park, basically becoming one of the Pajama God's minions. Soon after, an unnamed researcher visits the park to investigate all of the missing persons cases linked to the park and records everything he finds. He eventually finds a strange room with a passcode written inside, 412559. When he reads it out loud, his audio recording stops. The researcher is reported to have never been seen again, which probably leads us to where we are today, exploring Fancy Island through this very weird web browser game. So, that's Fancy Island as best as we can explain it. And the cool thing is that this is something any of us can play. We could play this on our browser right now or even potentially on our phones. I'm not sure, again, how different the versions are. But you can go and play this at any time. Also, YouTubers do a lot of streams and videos just exploring Fancy Island, and it's really cool. It has to be nice for audience participation as well, because people may have played it or they might be able to discover new things while playing with their favorite streamer. But in 2020, one YouTuber named UB made a reaction video about Fancy Island, and that video got 4 million likes. It has just millions and millions of views. So this is something that has resurged in popularity quite recently.
Would you stream Fancy Island? Because I'd watch.
I would stream Fancy Island, but because of the nature of the game, I feel like I would just be so afraid what I'd stumble across. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
There is just this feeling of fear when you're literally scrolling through the web while someone else, hundreds of people, thousands of people are watching you do it, where it's am I going to see something that's going to get me into so much trouble,
Right.
you know?
Right.
But I don't really think that's what this is, and a lot of people have played it. So it kind of just feels like this really old internet relic to me. I don't know, it just feels weirdly nostalgic, kind of fun, but also at the end, I am just why did someone make this?
Why?
What is it all? Why? What does it all mean? I think it's somewhat interesting, though, that this is a web browser-based game. That's the reason that it survived. It's the reason why we're talking about it, is that it's not a Flash game. And I was trying to think about, why did someone make a web browser-based game? And it has to be for the ease of programming, right?
Knowing nothing about programming, literally at all, I would assume, yes?
Yeah, because all you have to do is make the website. And I mean, not that that's all you have to do. Okay, first and foremost, I decorated my MySpace when I was 16, and that's the extent of my programming expertise. Just with this, though, I have to imagine it's somewhat easier to create a web page with creepy visuals, maybe a little bit of moving video or something hosted on the website with some creepy noises, rather than program an entire video game. So I think that's cool. And I also think that people are probably drawn to it because it's ooh, mysterious website, you know?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think? What are your feelings on Fancy Island?
I love this era of the internet, and I do think there's really something to the fact that most of these are gone, which is so sad, because I was actually talking about this with my friend pretty recently, a couple days ago, but I do feel like Flash games and games like this are going to be completely obsolete in a couple decades. They just will not exist in the cultural consciousness, I don't think really at all. So I'm always happy to see ones that, like you said, 4 million views on a YouTube video in 2020, that's fun. I don't know.
Yeah, it's cool, right?
Am an old fart. And
you and me both, sister.
New video games sometimes just don't do it for me in the same way that Pokemon Ruby did. Okay, so I don't know. If anything, I kind of hope that we're gonna see a bunch of video game avenues in the future, and the fact that something like this can exist for this long and resurge in popularity, give me some sick browser games. Make more. I don't know. I think it's cool. I also like things that are scary but come from this era because they're palatable to me.
You can make fun of them a tiny bit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You can pretty much anyone. I mean, I won't say anyone. We obviously approach this game or any games of this era with caution, but potentially this one in particular. But I like that in terms of the scary visuals, typically with these older games, you're not going to get anything that's too grotesque or gruesome or that horrifying.
Right.
That, is going to those images stick with me. So I enjoy games like this.
I also think that this is kind of a cool experience because a lot of love genuinely went into this game and continues to go into it to this day. Actually, when I was doing our table read, when we were doing our table read for this episode, we went to the website just out of sheer curiosity and realized that there is now a warning. There's notes for the game before you begin that you're supposed to read, but now there's a separate one just saying, hey, if you're not in the best headspace for this, this is what this game entails. You are okay, you are safe. Which I also appreciate as well. So whoever made this game is still updating it to this day, and I think that's really cool. We want to know what you guys have to say about this episode. Have you visited Fancy Island? Would you ever give it a try? Do Eleanor and I need to pull an all-nighter and mayhaps play a round or 3 of this creepy web browser video game. Let us know all over social media with hashtag #GruesomeTwosome. We would love to hear from you. Thank you all so much for listening. We are your hosts, Loey and Eleanor, also known as the Gruesome Twosome, and we have loved this deep dive into the world of internet urban legends with all of you. You can find all episodes of the podcast, Internet Urban Legends, for free exclusively on Spotify.
Don't forget to follow the podcast so we can continue bringing you a new disturbing mystery each and every week. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Loeybug and at Snitchery, and support our show by following at Parcast on Instagram and at Parcast Network on Twitter. Stay gruesome, friends!
Internet Urban Legends is a Spotify original from Parcast.
It is executive produced by Max Cutler from Parcast, Slash Management, and Ed Simpson, Fanny Baudry, and Leah Sutherland from Wheelhouse DNA.
Sound design by Ron Shapiro, with associate sound design by Jamie Ryan.
It is produced by Jonathan Ratliff, Gemma Waters, John Cohen, Kristen Acevedo, and Chelsea Parker, and is associate produced by Gitu Meira and Tracy Levy.
Research and script writing provided by Jed Bookout.
And we're your hosts, Loey Lane and Eleanor Barnes,
aka the Gruesome Twosome.